Hey, visionaries! You are now tuned in to the Starts with a Vision podcast, where everything you do in life starts with a vision. If your vision is clear or foggy, you are in the right place. It's time to go take what's yours, because there's a vision only you can see, and a dream only you can dream. And now, your host, Mr. Starts with a Vision.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mr. SWAV, and I'm not about to waste your time at all. Look, we got a dope guest. We're going to have a part two, like for real, because this interview was dope as hell, and it's so much information that you could extract out of it and apply to your life. You know, so first off, we haven't had anybody on the podcast who has a nonprofit or can tell you about a nonprofit. So today we have B. Mills, Brandon Miller, and when I tell you what he's doing with nonprofits is like revolutionary, it's revolutionary because nobody is and or has done a nonprofit the way he's doing it. He has two of them, okay? So with that being said, today's guest is Brandon Miller, a.k.a. B. Mills. cool dude. And not only is he going to tell you like how to start a nonprofit, but also, you know, be different. Be creative, okay? And be true to you at the end of the day. So Brandon Miller is today's guest, and we're talking about nonprofits. What's going on, everybody out there listening? This is, you already know who it is, man. It's Mr. Starts with a Vision. And I want to say we got Mr. Be Great over here right now. And we're going to be talking about a lot of nonprofit type stuff, but not your traditional nonprofit. A lot of times when we think about nonprofit, we think about, you know, some old dingy building and, you know, the walls aren't painted and stuff. But Brandon is bringing a whole new energy to entrepreneurship and also nonprofit. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. How you doing today, Brandon?
Man, I'm living. I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely,
ready to chop it up.
Absolutely, man. You were highly suggested by two other people that I know of. So, and you know one of them. But, you know, I'm glad we were able to make this happen.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah,
100%,
so
man.
I know you're doing a lot of stuff like we already kind of talked about, but, you know, specifically in the nonprofit realm of, you know, business. And so I really wanted to highlight that and focus on that because we haven't had anybody talk about that yet. And I think it's also fascinating with what you're doing. So just let everybody know the nonprofits that you do have and what those are about.
Most definitely. So the first nonprofit that I co-founded, I actually started when I was an undergrad at Georgia Sax about 3 years ago, and it's called the Black Bordeaux Incorporated. And our sole mission is to promote, support, and cultivate young Black entrepreneurs. So as I was starting my first businesses when I was, you know, in college, I was realizing, like, man, I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, I see like Diddy, I see Damon John, but like I don't know the ins and outs of entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. So we really started this nonprofit to help young entrepreneurs figure it out and build a community where we can learn from each other's mistakes and weaknesses, but also their strengths. Mm-hmm. So we really built the nonprofit around that. The second nonprofit that is about a year old now, it was co-founded in Dallas, Texas, and it's called the Two Fly Fundraiser. And this one's really unique. Our sole mission is to throw what we call creatively lit events. So like we throw turn-ups basically, whether that's day parties, brunches, happy hours, concerts. But we do it with a twist. We party with a purpose. So all of the funds that we raise through these events go directly to helping students in underserved communities afford the ability to travel. So we purchase passports and travel-related resources for these students in underserved communities. So turn up and give back at the end of the day.
Right. So I think that's like, I keep laughing because that's dope as hell, and nobody has thought about that. So where did you get the drive to want to start a nonprofit in the first place? I know you said, you know, you were just figuring it out, but like, where'd you get the drive to like make it a structure?
Yeah, so for me, like I don't have like one of the like humbling, like started from the bottom stories that you hear from a lot of entrepreneurs. Like I grew up so blessed, so fortunate. You know, both of my parents were around, my family was very supportive. And I just realized, like, man, I don't really have to like want for anything because I'm so blessed. And as I started to like kind of grow older and like think about what my passion is and my purpose, I started to realize that maybe I was so blessed growing up because it's my purpose to be a blessing to others and to help others. So like when I kind of had that aha moment and I started to realize what I'm passionate in, but also like what I was struggling in when it came to entrepreneurship, that's where I first got that drive to, you know, start a nonprofit and really give back in a major way. And I like to have fun at the end of the day. Like I like turning up, I like hanging out. So I wanted to make sure I brought that like fun flair and like that soul into all of the businesses that I had. Like I try to like bring that Diddy element to everything that I do. So I guess that's where it kind of all started and came together.
Right. Cause that, and I think that's interesting, man, because when in the realm of entrepreneurship, nobody talks about really having fun. They talk about work. Work. You have to work. You have to work hard. You can't party. You can't really have, you know, fun, quote unquote. And so I think it's interesting in what you're doing. You are slowly but surely dispelling that myth. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I work, my team works tirelessly, like day in and day out. But when it comes to making your work fulfilling and making your work worth it at the end of the day, you got to enjoy what you're doing. And, you know, some people like grinding heads down, you know, and working and seeing a financial return at the end of the day. And that's perfect. Some people like myself, you know, money isn't my main motivator. And that's evident because I'm starting these nonprofits, but I like to see impact. I like to see other people having fun, and I like to have fun while I'm working. So it just kind of all makes sense for me. And you really just kind of got to find what works for you, and this definitely works for me.
Right. So talk about, you know, just the steps on creating a nonprofit in itself.
Yeah, for sure. So
what are those steps like, you know, from ground zero?
Yeah, so I kind of follow the same framework with all of my businesses, especially the nonprofits. And the first thing is just understanding kind of a need and understanding like a passion. So for me, I love travel and I love giving back. And like I said before, I like having fun. So it's like, how can I put all of these like variables in a pot and come up with a solution? So that's where the Two Fly fundraiser, for example, was born. And we kind of piloted it out before we started the nonprofit. We threw a happy hour in New York. We threw one in Dallas just to see if people were kind of rocking with the idea and rocking with the movement. And once we saw that it was impactful, that people were enjoying it, and we can make a legitimate business out of it, that's when we kind of started the process of getting incorporated and filing, you know, the paperwork to get incorporated. We threw a couple more events and kind of built out our business plan, pitched the idea to a couple partners and sponsors and such to make sure that it had a strong foundation and it was a strong corporation. And that's when we filed to get our 501c3 like nonprofit status, tax exempt status. Okay. So those are kind of like the playbook steps in which we executed and started the nonprofit.
So before any nonprofit you'll ever start in the future, you're always going to throw in do a preliminary to test it out.
Yeah. I think that's, you know, you always want to kind of test something out before you know, throw all of your time and you bring in your co-founders and you're throwing in your money. Because at the end of the day, you can think about, you know, something that's going to work, you know, in the back of your head and be like, oh yeah, you know, people are going to love this. This is going to work. It's going to make a huge impact. And when the rubber meets the road, you find that maybe your target market isn't really rocking with it like you thought they would. Right. So it's, you know, it's always important to kind of get your feet wet, at least in my opinion, and just kind of adapt, tweak, and then kind of formalize it after that.
Got you. And in terms of starting, just to make it very, very easy for people, what are all the documents that you need for a nonprofit? I know it's a
Go ahead.
501c3. I know it's 501c3, but like, are there any other documents that you need in order to make it happen that's different from starting an LLC?
It's very much similar to an LLC. When you put your Articles of Incorporation together, you get your board of directors. You have to have 3 members on your board, but it's very much similar to an LLC. And then that last step, like you mentioned, is that 501c3 exempt status.
Okay.
And my team leverages a lot of the resources that are out there. Funny enough, my other nonprofit, the Black Bordeaux, which focuses on entrepreneurship, we have put together kind of like resources and cheat sheets on how to start, whether it's an LLC or a nonprofit. So there's a lot of resources out there, and just a lot of resources on the internet as well.
Okay, got you. That makes perfect sense. And I just wanted to, because I know people say they want to start a nonprofit all the time, so I really wanted to kind of go into that. But then earlier you talked about for the second nonprofit, the one where you're doing the creatively lit events, you said in the beginning, no. It was for the Black Bordeaux, I believe. You said that you did an event and then you checked for sponsors before, right?
Yeah. So that one was actually the Two Fly fundraiser.
Okay,
so,
Two Fly fundraiser.
We threw a couple of different events before we were even a registered LLC. We just kind of got together. We said, hey, we want to raise funds. And we did it through our now philanthropic partner called the Harley Home Initiative. And they were fundraising to raise 100 passports, I believe, for students in underserved communities. So we said, hey, we'll partner with them. We'll raise some money with these creatively lit events. We threw a happy hour in New York, threw a happy hour in Dallas, and we raised way more money than we thought we would. And that's when we realized, okay, this could work. We formalized our partnership with the Harley Home Initiative. And then that's when we got the ball rolling on formulating the nonprofit, the official nonprofit.
Okay. And so how did you go about finding, and how do you still go about finding sponsors and or partners? Are there any directories, any resources that you can leave for people to find, sponsors that may be looking for whatever?
Yeah, so it really kind of depends on the direction that you're going with your nonprofit. What I like to do personally is I'm obviously passionate about small businesses, entrepreneurs. So what I like to do is I like to help other entrepreneurs as they help me. So when we're throwing these events, whether it's a conference for the Black Bordeaux or it's these pop-up fundraising turn-ups for the Two Fly fundraiser, I look to see, what small businesses are in the area that we're throwing the event that we can partner with. So, for example, when we threw our fundraiser in Austin, Texas, we were looking for a venue, and we went to Tom's because Tom's is very philanthropic minded. They do a lot with world travel and giving back globally. So we said, that's a good fit. Let's reach out to them and tell them what we're about and what value we can bring to them. We're bringing a young minority market to the Tom's flagship store in Austin. Check that box. Okay, next we need food for our event. What local, food companies or catering companies can we work with? And we kind of just check the box for our needs, and we try to think as a team, what value can we bring to each of them? Because once you pitch your value to somebody else, they're more willing to work with you. You can go out and say, hey, we're like the dopest, nonprofit out there. Nobody's doing what we're doing. You should want to work with us. That's the quickest way to turn off a potential sponsor or partner.
Right.
But if you go in and say, hey, we're bringing this market to Austin. This is what we're about. This is the impact that we've had thus far. And this is why we need you. They're going to say, you need us. We're going to get some value out of this. I'm more willing to scratch your back now. I'm willing to help you out now. So that's kind of the approach that I take. So I do a lot of, and I say it's a team of us. We do a lot of work kind of researching businesses in the areas that we're throwing events, researching potential partners in corporations that are that have a similar mindset to what we're trying to do, or want to have a similar impact to what we're trying to do. So it's not like an easy, like, let me go Google and, just email everybody. We put a lot of work into trying to research and find the perfect fit.
100%. Now, so you did an event in Austin, and you said you got Tom's there, right?
Yeah.
So what was you did an event at their location, or did they bring some shoes or representative? Like, what did the event look like in congruence to what Tom's had? Because I just want to illustrate this for everybody.
Yeah, so we were really scrambling. So kind of the backstory, we wanted to throw an event in Austin, and I think it was like a month out. Like, we were just like, hey, let's do it. So we were scrambling to find a venue for our event. So we were just kind of shooting our shot, reaching out to different establishments, and we did that with Tom's. Our director, Bola, she reached out to Tom's and said, hey, this is what we're doing. We know you are a philanthropic company as well. We're trying to expand the reach of future global leaders through our resources and the funds that we're raising. This is why it's a good fit. And, they found it was a good fit as well. And what they did for us is they opened up their venue, their flagship store in Austin, to us for free. They gave us a discount code. So anybody that attended the fundraiser got a discount on anything in the store, shoes, apparel, etc. They allowed us to bring alcohol vendors to kind of their back porch. We brought a food truck up to their back porch, had DJ Heliella, a prominent Austin DJ, out there spinning. So it was like a kind of like a backyard family reunion vibe, and Tom's loved it. And after the event, it went very well. They opened up to becoming an official partner with us and opening up their flagship stores across the country to work with us in the future. Nice.
That's amazing, man. And how did you guys, I know this is like the $1 million question, how did you guys reach out to them? I know it was like you reached out to them, but what was the strategy behind it? And also, how long did that take? I know you said you were scheduled a month out, so it didn't take too long, but what did that look like?
So Bola, I mentioned her name before. She kind of directs the whole program, To Fly fundraiser program. She's my co-founder. She's excellent with communication and PR. So she really just reached out via email and just said, hey, this is what we've done in the past. This is how many passports we've raised for students in the past. We'll be out there at this time. This is how we can provide value to you. We're bringing this market to your location. We would love to have, our event here. It's perfect. It's prime for us. What can we do to work with you? Like, what is it that you need from us? Very simple, very short, very sweet. And they reached back and, they asked for a little bit more information about our organization and what we were doing. And, I think, I can't remember because she handled it, but it was like a week or 2 weeks later, if that they reached back up and we kind of firmed up the partnership.
Dang, that's what's up. That excites me, man. Seriously, for the future, because what that does is that opens up the lane and ideas for so many different things now.
Yeah, exactly, and I think it's all kind of a mindset thing. So I often preach to people: figure out what value you can provide to them. When you're looking for partners and sponsors and advocates, you usually have the mindset of, what can they do for me? I need a new co-founder that's savvy in tech. Who can do that for me? I need a partner who can, that just has a good amount of resources and a network. Who can do that for me? And we neglect to think about what we can do for them.
Right.
And when you present it that way, like, here's how, here's the value that I'm going to add to you. And this is how I'm going to help you out. People are more willing to listen. They're more receptive.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about. I actually did a Facebook Live today about this exact thing. Stop focusing on yourself and more so focus on being a resource to other people, because if you do that, then other people are always going to take care of you because you added so much value to them.
100% agree. And that's funny. I was just talking to one of my mentees yesterday, And it's kind of on the same topic as well. I said, go through your email when you're asking somebody for something and see how many times you say I versus how many times you say we in that email. And if you change your I's to we's, people are already halfway, in the door. Right. They already feel committed when you're saying, this is what we're going to do with this fundraiser. We're going to have this impact. We're going to raise this amount of money. Instead of saying I, they already feel included.
Psychologically, they just feel like they're a part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So what's the vision moving forward with both the nonprofits?
Yeah. So with the Black Bordeaux, I'll start there since that's the first one. We just want to have a national impact when it comes to reducing the economic gap when it comes to African American owned businesses versus majority owned businesses. We see so many stats about the buying power of the Black population and, how the culture is affecting marketing and advertising. And, you look at Apple's commercials or you look at Pepsi's commercials and you see kind of our culture's influence when we're really not making as much money off of it as we should. And I'm not going to go too deep down that rabbit hole. But what we want to do is we want to kind of bring that culture into our businesses. We want to build a community similar to Black Wall Street, where it's all of these Black businesses working together to improve their economic state. So through the scholarships that we provide to collegiate and high school entrepreneurs, through the conferences that we throw. We're having a conference in Atlanta October 28th for students and young professional entrepreneurs. We just really want to kind of change the game and just have a great time doing it.
Right.
So that's the first thing with the Black Bordeaux. With the Two Fly fundraiser, we just want to have a huge global impact when it comes to travel. I've traveled all over the world. My co-founders, they travel all over, and we realized kind of the growth that we've gotten through travel, the experiences that we've seen, the perspectives that we now have because of travel. And you see like all of these like Instagram pages now, like Travel Noir, Soul Society, Black and Abroad. Like there's really this like love for like Black travel right now, and we want to make sure that the next generation has that as well. Like that doesn't get lost.
Right.
So we want to continue throwing, dope ass events, happy hours, day parties, brunches, concerts, you name it. And we just want to give back in a major way, in a fun way that millennials that come out to these events, our target market, are having a good time and they're realizing the impact that they're having on the next generation.
Right. Man, I'm excited for you, man. Like,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
You get me excited, man. Seriously. Because, yeah, absolutely, man. So where can people find you at, find more about what you do and everything like that?
Yeah, so the easiest way, you can follow me on Instagram at that guy B Mills. That's B as in boy, MILLS. Or you can go to my website, www.brandonemiller.com, and you'll see everything about all of the businesses. Like there'll be links to all of the different pages, the Instagram pages on there. Otherwise, I'd have to like sit there and give you like 5 different Instagram handles, and I don't want to do that.
Right.
So brandonemiller.com is the easiest way.
Absolutely, man. Well, look, man, I see a whole bunch of stuff happening for you. I'm excited for you. And I really hope that, and I not even hope, I know everybody got a whole bunch of good nuggets from this interview, because a lot of people want to start nonprofits. And I don't want to say you gave them the blueprint, but you gave them a pretty solid trail to follow on. And sure. I like it because it's so creative and innovative.
Definitely. And if anybody has any questions for me, like feel free to reach out, email yo at brandonemiller.com. DM me on Instagram, whatever. I'm very receptive, and I love helping other people out as well. So
absolutely,
tell everybody, don't be strangers.
Absolutely, man. Well, you guys heard it here first, man. Brandon, I want to say thank you so much for your time and being on the podcast. And with that being said, guys, we're going to talk to you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Starts With a Vision podcast. Come get your vision clear at www.startswithavision.com. See you there.